Welcome back to College Kings D1 Sports Talk. I'm your host, Alex, and we got Beckham and Luke back for another episode. Today we're talking about basketball.
Yep, today we're talking about basketball.
So we got some big games. So first of all,
We'll go
Beckham.
over the Sweet 16 games.
Yep. So do you want to start us off?
Yes. For on Thursday, March 27th, we had number 2 Alabama versus number 6 BYU. And Mark Sears from Alabama actually had 10 threes in this game.
Yeah, Alabama killed BYU, beating them 113-88.
Wow.
I mean, that was just crazy.
Beat down.
The next game, we got Florida versus Maryland. Maryland's, they couldn't hit another buzzer beater.
Yeah,
game.
honestly, I don't even think they should have made it this far. I feel like
No.
they robbed Colorado State. I feel like the refs helped them out too much, so Florida put them away.
Yep.
Next, we have number 1 Duke beating Arizona 100-93. This was a good game.
It was a good game.
Arizona put up a good fight, but Duke just seems like unstoppable
This
right
was
now.
a closer game than I thought it would be.
Yeah, high scoring. Good job by
Yeah.
Arizona, but not enough.
Now, one of the best games of the Sweet 16. Number 3, Texas Tech versus number 10, Arkansas.
It was really close.
85-83 overtime. That's a good
You know,
game.
I really thought Arkansas was going to win there.
Yeah.
I actually did too. I had them winning on my bracket.
Cinderella story ended.
Comes to an
Wow.
end. The highest seed falls.
Let's move on to Friday, boys.
All right, Friday, we have number 2 Michigan State against number 6 Ole Miss. Michigan State barely beats Ole Miss 73-70. I was actually thinking Ole Miss was going to get the upset.
I really
but
saw Ole Miss. I thought they were going to win
fell
that.
short.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tennessee and Kentucky. Number 2 Tennessee, number 3 Kentucky.
I think
The
everyone saw
rivalry
this
game, but Tennessee had a good lead against Kentucky and beating them by 13 points.
I don't think anyone saw Kentucky win.
Yeah, I picked Tennessee last time, so
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
And Auburn beat Michigan.
Number 1 Auburn, number 5 Michigan. Auburn wins by 13 points. Oh, it's the same score as the other game, but kind of same story. Just
Yeah, I saw this
Michigan
happen.
couldn't score high enough.
I didn't really see Michigan winning. So
And then
either.
another great game. Number
Really
1
good
Houston
game.
versus number 4
Houston
Purdue.
and Purdue. That was back and forth the whole game. It was either person's game. It went down to the last second. Purdue tried to throw it up at the last second, couldn't get it, but it was a really good game.
This was like a lot closer than I thought too.
I agree.
Yeah.
Kind of showed people can touch Houston. Pause.
So we got.
So on
go to the
Saturday, we
Elite
got
Eight.
the Elite 8. Number 1 Florida and number 3 Texas Tech. Florida
Um,
beats them by 5, 84-79.
You know, Florida finally shown what they could do.
Yeah.
I mean, all the other games they could barely score.
Yeah. This one was shocking. Number 1 Duke against number 2 Alabama.
Yeah.
Duke beat them by 20, 85-65.
Mark Sears couldn't do what he did last game.
Alabama just wasn't there. Duke
Yeah.
has
I
been
mean,
dominating.
they used all their 3-pointers against BYU.
Yeah.
And for Sunday's games of the Elite 8, we got number 1 Houston versus number 2 Tennessee. This was an absolute blowout.
Yeah, this wasn't at the end of the first half. Tennessee only had like 15 points. This was embarrassing.
Although it was only a 19-point game, this should have been a lot more.
I'm just saying though, but Tennessee got embarrassed in that first.
15 points.
That's
That
horrible.
was
Like you could tell they were gonna lose, and they scored 35 in the second half. But it was, even if they scored a lot, they could have scored 45.
It was
and
actually
wasn't enough.
the lowest scoring half of all time.
Yeah, that's just that's crazy.
It is crazy.
The 15 points is ridiculous.
Then we got number 1 Auburn versus number 2 Michigan State.
This was a good game, but once again, Auburn won by 6 points, 70-64.
Janai Broom was hurt for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then he came back and they couldn't stop him.
Speaking of Janai Broom, he currently is our best player from the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. He's averaged 18.7 points and 10.9 rebounds per game.
Wow.
And he's been dominating with Auburn, and he's been going through an elbow injury, so really shows like resilience.
And
tough
his
player.
highlights from the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, he had 22 points and 16 rebounds.
It's a good deal.
And then that was from the Sweet 16 versus Michigan. And the Elite 8 versus Michigan State, so we played both the Michigans.
Yeah,
He had 25 points and 14 rebounds. So
that's crazy, and all with an injury.
yeah, so you know, if he sees a Michigan team, he's gonna go off.
Yeah.
All right.
So now we're gonna make some predictions. Who do we think? Who do we have winning the Final Four?
The games. So for Saturday we have Houston versus Duke, and Duke is actually favored by 5.5.
Yeah.
So
Who do you have winning, Houston or Duke?
I have Duke winning this. I think it was gonna be a really close game, but it's gonna come down to the wire, and I think
I also have Duke winning.
Duke is gonna pull away.
I have Duke as well. I think Houston's a good team, but they're reliant on one player. Where Duke is super good overall, all around,
Yeah.
and they're just no one seemed to have an answer to them. Where Purdue could keep a close game, or
Like Houston, they had the player of the tournament for the round of
Last-
64
yeah.
and 32. But if they're gonna want to win, he's gonna have to show up, and he's
Yeah.
gonna have to.
I think they'll double team him though.
I
Duke
think they might.
will double team him.
Yeah.
They won't give him a shot. What's the next game?
How do we think about Florida and Auburn?
I think
I think this is gonna
this is
be
a
the
good
best
game.
It's gonna
I
be a
agree.
good game.
SEC matchup, two of the 1 seeds going at each other.
I think Florida's taking it though.
I agree. I think Florida will win. I think they were first of all they won the SEC championship.
Yeah.
Well, depending on how Broom is feeling,
Yeah.
if he's still hurt, then
If
I
he's
say
injured,
Florida.
I totally agree with you. Florida shouldn't have as hard of a time.
if he's like playing good, then I think they're gonna win. So like it
You
all
think
depends.
Auburn's gonna win against Florida?
If Broom is
Yes,
healthy.
100%. He's
Yeah.
gonna.
But like saying if he's like 75% healthy, they're gonna win. Like Florida's gonna win.
Yeah.
So,
I think Florida will. I think it could totally go either way, but something like that, where if he can't play the whole game or something happens, Florida's chances definitely go up.
like if he gets hurt and then goes to lock for 5 minutes, they're gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gonna.
Florida, if they play at their best, I think they're overall a better team than Auburn. But we've seen multiple times where they haven't shown up right away. So like when they played Texas Tech. No, they didn't play Texas. I don't remember who they played, but they didn't show up right away. They were down by a lot, and then they
UConn?
came back.
In Florida, or we're talking about Auburn?
Yeah, Florida, but they don't start off hot. But once they start scoring, they have no problem. But
Yeah.
if they take too long, Auburn's just gonna outscore them. They won't be able to catch up. Yeah, it was Texas Tech. They were down by like 15 or 12 or something.
Yeah, if Florida plays how they were playing against Texas Tech, then it's gonna be a really close game.
But
Yeah.
What do you think is the best game of the tournament so far?
this is just because I had the most fun watching this one, but I think Houston and Purdue. That was a good game, just because it went back and forth so much. You couldn't tell who was gonna win, and it went down to like the last second.
I'm gonna be so honest. Just because it was a high-scoring game, Alabama and BYU. I just thought that was so funny.
Yeah, you're like
I was
seeing
about to take that one.
Alabama
Yeah.
just kicking it
You
to
know,
the Mormons. just
I'm actually gonna
dogging
have
on 'em.
probably New Mexico versus Marquette,
Yeah,
because everyone thought Marquette was just gonna roll past them,
yeah.
and they showed that. It was close between McNeese and New Mexico, but I think I'm gonna have to pick New Mexico for that
That's a
one.
good,
Yeah.
good pick. Good upset.
Yeah. So how are our brackets looking?
Mine is actually probably not the best out of YouTube, but it's pretty good. Mine's at 97% right now. It was my third bracket. It got some pretty good picks. I have Florida going all the way.
Me too.
That's
Yeah.
good. Who is your first loser?
My first loser.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll tell you. Creighton and Louisville.
Oh,
Yeah, you picked.
first
I picked
game.
Louisville as well.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, I do like Creighton. I just thought.
I just
that-
didn't think they would do it.
Yeah.
They were on fire that game.
Yeah, only if they played that way.
I mean,
against Auburn.
they can't. You can't take Creighton losing first round. It
I
hasn't happened in
also
6
I had
years.
Michigan losing as well. I didn't think they would win.
Who did they play first round?
UC San Diego.
Oh yeah.
I just
I
wasn't.
was surprised.
Michigan was so low scoring all season. Like always had close games. I was thinking UC San Diego would upset them.
I mean, everyone was hyping up UC San Diego.
Yeah.
They do that. So
Yeah.
how's your bracket looking?
Well, early on, I picked a lot of upsets that didn't happen, but like my final four, I had Duke, Auburn, Florida, and someone else in it. I don't remember who else I had, but I have Florida beating Auburn, and then Duke playing Florida in the national championship, then Florida winning. So my Final Four, except for one, is still pretty good. Hopefully, Florida beats Auburn.
Yeah, so I do have 100% bracket so far.
No.
I've missed
Wait,
two.
I didn't hear what his percent is though. What's your percent on your bracket?
I don't know.
Okay,
You
so
should
It's
check.
been a minute.
You should check.
I do
I'll have it
have
on here.
a perfect Sweet 16 through the Final Four so far. But I do have Houston winning it all.
Yeah.
You have Houston?
I have one for Houston and one for Duke.
You see, that's where it's like, all right, sure.
But
yeah.
I have Auburn versus Houston in the final. So I'm
Really?
really hoping Broom can.
I
stay
just
healthy.
don't think Houston can beat Duke. That's like Houston's a good team, but I think they just aren't overall as good. But if they play better,
What do we think is the biggest, like the worst team of the tournament? Like a team that should have went far, but then just fell short. So I'm actually gonna go with St. John's.
Yeah, I agree. They lost
They lost
32, right? Round of 32.
Yeah. And everyone had them going to the final.
Yeah.
A lot of people had them going to the Final Four.
And also after all their talk, like, oh yeah, we're gonna
that
win it all.
and then they lose to Arkansas.
Big East champs. They lose to Arkansas. That was
I mean,
hilarious
all this
game.
hype for nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, in the first half of the Omaha game, they were not looking.
they were
greatest.
losing early on as well.
I actually did think they were gonna get upset there.
Me too.
Honestly, Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. Can see it.
Is that a good take? Is that a good take, boys?
But they lose to?
Nah.
I think it's a good take.
They lost to Michigan. Okay, that actually is a good take because I wouldn't have picked Michigan to beat them at
That-
all. And then
exactly.
Michigan dropped beat them by 12.
I had Texas A&M in my bracket too. I had them beating Michigan, and I really thought they were gonna, but they did not.
Yeah, I can see that a little. Alex, who do you think is
Like the biggest.
the biggest bust?
Probably St. John's. I mean, I know you already said
Wow.
that, but that's because they were saying they were gonna go all like at least. I thought they would at least get to the Final Four, maybe, and
Yeah.
or like at least the Elite Eight.
I
But
do
they
see
lost in the round of 32 to Arkansas.
And another one is Clemson.
That
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But Clemson, like they were all, back and forth all season. Like if they shot well, they would win.
Yeah.
Like when they beat Duke.
I mean, they had a super low score in the first half, and then
I really, I
barely
did not
lost.
think that Clemson was gonna lose to McNeese at all.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people saw the manager hype,
Yeah, they had Amir or Khan, so
Yeah.
that's why they won.
but a lot of people had them going far.
Yeah.
We also have the Iowa State too.
Iowa
Yeah,
State.
but two of their starters were injured, so
Okay, I see kind of why then.
they would have gone far, I think. But just having two of your best players out kills your team, basically.
It really does.
Especially at a school like Iowa State where their starters might be really good, but they don't have as good backups like
I
other.
mean,
big
Iowa
schools.
State started, I think, like 17-0
Yeah.
season.
They started off really. They were like one of the best
They were really hot.
top
at the
5 in the
start,
country, I think.
and
But then it just
something
started falling
happened.
off.
Yeah.
Kind of like Nebraska a little bit. You know, started hot, just couldn't do as good in the rest of the season.
Is that all we
I think
got?
that's rats.
That's a
So
wrap.
that's all for today.
What
Tune
we
in next
talk
episode.
about-
We'll talk about basketball one more time. End
No,
off the
we'll
season.
We'll talk about a little basketball, and then we'll go into baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to
So
talk about the
it'll be half
crown,
and half.
the natty, and then we'll talk about some baseball.
So it'll
But-
be about like half and half.
Yeah, half
So-
and half.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.
See ya.